Hello everyone. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Today, we continue to follow the beautiful yet challenging love story of Hang and Nhat. In their world, every step they take carries the weight of unspoken thoughts, lingering wounds, and a longing to be loved, to be understood, and to walk hand in hand through every storm. Each moment, each glance, each word they share holds its own layer of emotion, sometimes gentle, sometimes aching, and sometimes enough to make one's heart tighten. And amidst all the turmoil and difficult choices, will their love be strong enough to endure? Let's follow along and feel every beat of their journey. Nhat, a small, delicate girl, yet carrying within herself a strength far greater than her fragile frame. Life has never been easy for her. From childhood to adulthood, hardship has been a familiar companion, waking up before dawn when the fog still clings to the valleys, walking through rain and slippery roads just to earn a living. Yet not once has anyone heard her complain. Her eyes always shine, as if holding an entire sky of resilience. Today, she once again makes her usual journey into the forest to gather medicinal plants to sell. The path she takes is still the same, thick with wild grass and scattered with roots rising from the ground as if trying to trip the traveler. But to Nhat, this is simply part of life, the place where she feels most at peace. She wears a conical hat faded by sun and time, and on her back is the old bamboo basket that has followed her through the years, worn but full of stories. As she steps into the forest, the first thing greeting her is the cheerful sound of birds singing high above the canopy. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves, and soft morning light filters through, landing on her shoulders, making her determined steps appear even lighter. It is as if the forest itself understands her struggles and welcomes her with open arms, comforting, encouraging, and protecting the girl who never stops fighting. Nhat bends down to examine each root and leaf, recognizing medicinal herbs that only someone who knows the forest by heart could find. Every step she takes is filled with the scent of earth, wood, and a rare kind of serenity in her hard-earned life. No one knows that behind her quiet, humble appearance is a heart as tough as stone, brave enough to face poverty, strong enough to stand in the storm, and warm enough to keep smiling through it all. The first medicinal roots slowly revealed themselves beneath the dry leaves and forest soil. I bent down, gently brushing away the bits of dirt clinging to them, my hands moving with the ease of someone who has worked with nature for years. Once each root was clean, I placed it carefully into the bamboo basket on my back, old, worn, yet as enduring as my own hard-working life. One after another, the next roots were found. I lifted each plant, dusted off the soil, and arranged them neatly in the basket. The small sounds around me, the rustling of dry leaves, the soft snap of roots, the faint creak of the bamboo basket, came together like a familiar melody of the forest. By the time the basket grew heavy and full of precious herbs, the sun had already climbed high. Midday light poured down through the canopy, slipping between the leaves and scattering shimmering patterns across the ground. The heat, combined with hours of work, made sweat stream down Nhat's face, tracing along her cheeks before falling to the earth. Strands of hair clung to her forehead, but she kept moving, her eyes steady, her steps unwavering. In the harsh sunlight and deep quiet of the forest, Nhat, with her old conical hat, the overflowing bamboo basket on her back, and her sweat-soaked shirt, appeared both gentle and strong. She looked like a part of the forest itself, a part of the earth, shaped by a life full of hardship yet kept standing by her unbreakable will. Near the small thatched hut, Nhat's mother was bent over, pulling weeds and tidying up the little vegetable garden in front of the house. The young plants had just recovered after several heavy rains, so she took even more care with each row. Not far away, Hang's mother sat with her arms crossed, speaking in a tone that sounded more like an order than a request. "Tell Nhat to find something for me to eat. I'm hungry." Nhat's mother didn't look up. Her hands were covered in soil, but her voice was firm. "I'm busy. I don't have time to serve you. If you're hungry, go find something yourself." Hearing that, Hang's mother frowned, raising her voice. "Then go get some meat for me. Or catch some fish from the pond. I can't live on just vegetables and roots like this." The two women had never gotten along, so even a few words were enough to make the air tighten like a pulled string. Nhat's mother tried to stay patient, but even she had her limits. She stood up, brushed the dirt off her hands, and glared. "You don't work, you're lazier than anyone here, yet you demand good food. Where do you expect me to find meat for you in the middle of the forest? I've got 1,000 things to take care of." After speaking, she let out a long sigh, perhaps softening a little. Her voice lowered, calmer. "Fine. I'll go find some wild fruit for you to eat, just to tide you over. If we keep arguing like this house will never know peace." Hang's mother didn't reply, only turned her face away, while Nhat's mother quietly picked up a small basket and headed toward the bushes behind the house. In the deep forest, the quarrels of the two women sounded like the wind brushing through the leaves, small, but never-ending. At last, after an entire morning working deep in the forest, Nhat finally gathered all the medicinal roots she needed. The bamboo basket on her back was now heavy, filled to the brim with the herbs she had carefully searched for one by one. Though tired, her eyes carried a quiet satisfaction. Slowly, Nhat made her way down the path leading out of the forest. Soft rays of sunlight slipped through the leaves, falling across her shoulders, while beads of sweat still rolled down her cheeks. Each step was heavy yet steady, the footsteps of someone who had long grown familiar with hardship. When she reached the village, she headed straight to the small market where people bought medicinal roots. The buyers took each bundle of herbs from her basket, checking and weighing them carefully. Nhat stood nearby, her hands clasped together, exhausted yet anxious, the feeling she experienced every time she sold her harvest. Finally, the buyer handed her the money. It wasn't much, but it was the result of her effort, her sweat, and her hours of walking through the scorching forest. Nhat held the money tightly and allowed a small smile to appear on her lips. It was enough to warm her heart. To others, the amount might seem small, but to Nhat, it was proof of a day's hard work, truly deserved, truly meaningful. After Nhat's mother disappeared behind the bushes, Mrs. Tien immediately broke into a satisfied grin. She muttered to herself with a smug tone, "Ha, that woman is easy to order around. Just say a few words and she runs off to find food for me." Meanwhile, Nhat's mother followed a small path toward a neighboring orchard. She reached up and picked a few green, unripe oranges. She knew it wasn't harvest season yet, but she thought to herself, "I'll just pay the owner tomorrow when they come." When she returned, holding the handful of green oranges, she placed them in front of Hang's mother and said, "Here, eat these for now. When the orchard owner comes tomorrow, I'll give them money for it." Hang's mother picked up one of the oranges, smacking her lips skeptically. "What about you? Aren't you eating?" These are still green, must be really sour. She took a bite. Instantly, her whole face twisted as if she had bitten into pure vinegar. Good heavens, this is sour enough to break my jaw, she exclaimed. Nhat's mother stood there with her arms crossed, her voice calm and utterly unfazed. I know it's sour. That's why I'm not eating it. You go ahead and finish them. After saying that, Nhat's mother returned to the small vegetable garden behind the thatched hut. She bent down, gently pulling weeds and loosening the soil around each plant. The rows of green vegetables, nurtured by her hands every single day, were growing visibly well. The afternoon sunlight cast her weary yet patient figure onto the ground. Just then, the familiar sound of footsteps echoed from afar. Nhat, after a long day carrying a heavy basket of medicinal roots, finally came home. Sweat still clung to her forehead, and her hair was damp from the forest heat and wind. She walked slowly into the yard and let the basket fall to the ground with a tired exhale. Nhat's mother immediately looked up, her voice filled with concern. Are you very tired, dear? You were in the forest all morning, and under such harsh sunlight. In contrast, Hang's mother didn't spare a glance at Nhat's exhaustion. She abruptly stood up and snapped in a sharp, demanding tone. Since you have money now, did you buy any meat for me to eat? Nhat froze. She didn't say a word, she only shook her head lightly. Not because she was stingy, but because the money she earned from selling the roots was far too little, nowhere near enough to buy the meat the woman kept asking for. She sat down on the wooden step, her legs completely worn out. Sweat soaked through her clothes, sending a chill down her back, but what she needed most at that moment was simply a deep breath and a little silence. While Nhat was sitting and resting, the sound of a motorbike echoed along the path leading to the house. It was Hang. Today he had the day off, so he came home early. Seeing Nhat drenched in sweat, he quickly got off the bike and called out anxiously, "Wife, what have you been doing? Are you tired?" Sitting beside Nhat's mother, Hang listened as she replied that Nhat had just returned from the forest, gathering medicinal herbs to sell. Seeing Nhat weary and worn out, Hang poured her a glass of water, gently handing it to her and saying, "Here, drink this." Then he sat down beside her, his voice calm, warm, and sincere. "Come back home with me, wife. It's harsh and cold here, and getting around is difficult. At home, we have a large garden, chickens, a pond with fish, and you can even plant fresh vegetables. Please think it over, okay?" The gentle and caring words melted Nhat's heart. She knew Hang had taken the day off to come to her, out of love and concern, and in her heart, she also held strong feelings for him. Slowly, she nodded, a soft smile appearing on her lips. Hang smiled in return, his face bright as the afternoon sun, and said gently, "Then let's rest a bit first, and later we'll pack up and go home." In that moment, amidst the afternoon sunlight and the rustling of leaves, the image of the two of them quietly sharing and caring for each other appeared, simple, peaceful, and filled with warmth. Hang stood beside her, his expression stern, clearly disapproving, but his mother remained firm as she continued packing her belongings. Inside the simple bamboo hut, weathered and worn down by the passing years, everyone was busy gathering their things. Nhat and her mother collected pillows, blankets, and the essential items, placing them neatly onto the bamboo carrier. On the other side, Hang was packing his own belongings, loading them onto the motorbike, the family's only means of transportation. Nhat turned back to look at the little bamboo hut that had sheltered her through so many months. This place had witnessed countless memories and hardships, yet now she knew it was time to leave. The lonely hut stood quietly in the vast forest, still holding within it the simplest, most heartfelt traces of her life. She told herself she would return often, because there were still the vegetable garden and the fish pond, a place where she could rest and breathe after long days of work. Even though she was leaving a place she was deeply attached to, a sense of peace settled in her heart, knowing that this humble corner of the forest would always be a little sanctuary she could come back to whenever she needed. After securing the luggage tightly onto the motorbike, Hang stepped back to check everything one last time. Only when he was sure it was all in place did he let out a quiet sigh of relief. A small thought rose in his chest, soft but determined. Thank goodness. I finally convinced my wife to come home. From now on, I won't let anything make her sad again. That silent resolve gleamed in his eyes. The engine roared to life, its sound echoing through the trees and spreading across the forest, as if announcing the beginning of a new journey. The old door creaked loudly as he turned the key. Inside, the house had clearly been left untouched for a long time. Dust layered across the floor, and a faint musty smell lingered in the air. Everything was still in its place, yet covered in the color of time, still, worn, and lonely. Without wasting a second, Hang put the bags down and immediately hurried back outside. He ran toward the small path leading to the house, his mind fixed on only one thing. She'll be here any minute. I have to go meet her. The afternoon sunlight cast a warm glow over the old road, illuminating the figure of a man running in haste. That simple, heartfelt image seemed to gather all the love Hang held for Nhat written into every step he took. Hang gently held Nhat's hand and guided her into the house. As soon as they stepped inside, he set the luggage down and said softly, "Go outside and rest for a bit. I'll take care of this." Nhat nodded, tired but comforted by his attentiveness. Just then, Nhat's mother and Mrs. Tien also arrived. Everyone was exhausted after the long journey. They placed their belongings in a corner of the house and sat down at the wooden table outside to rest. The house still carried the scent of dust and time, but with everyone gathered, the atmosphere felt warm again. Nhat's mother looked down toward the garden. Weeds had grown thick after being left unattended. She sighed and said, "Tomorrow we have to clean all this up and plant a new batch of vegetables. The weeds are too much already, son-in-law." Hang chuckled, then turned to Mrs. Tien. "You can stay here, that's fine. But if you stay, you have to help my wife and mother-in-law grow vegetables. No being lazy." Mrs. Tien immediately crossed her arms and replied, "I'm not lazy. I only stopped working because I was sick." Hang raised an eyebrow as if he didn't quite believe her, then continued, half serious, half teasing. "So, have you found Tao yet? You need to get the money back to repay that lady. If she shows up here asking again, don't blame me." Mrs. Tien let out a long sigh at that, while Nhat and her mother exchanged glances, each lost in their own thoughts. The small house, once silent, was now filled with chatter, sighs, laughter, and gentle scolding, as if signaling the beginning of a new chapter for everyone living there. Hang gently took Nhat's hand and pulled her to sit closer. His voice was soft, warm, filled with affection. "From now on, I'll go to work, and you stay home to grow vegetables and raise chickens, okay? It'll be easier for you." A breeze passed by, brushing through Nhat's hair. She smiled and nodded, a quiet nod full of trust and peace. Seeing that, Hang squeezed her hand lightly and said, "Take a rest, my wife. I'll go catch a chicken and cook something special to celebrate you coming home." With that, he stood up and headed straight to the backyard. His silhouette moved quickly under the afternoon light, busy, yet filled with warmth. Nhat watched him for a moment, a small smile forming on her lips, before turning back inside the house. She began arranging their belongings neatly. Layers of dust on the floor and on the furniture, she wiped them away with calm, steady motions, determined to bring life back into their home. Outside, Nhat's mother walked into the garden. She bent down, inspecting the soil, the overgrown weeds, the messy corners. "Tomorrow we'll have to clear all of this," she murmured. "We need to plant a new batch of vegetables so the kids have something fresh to eat." In that old wooden house, each person had their own task, yet they all shared the same quiet happiness. Starting over, peacefully, simply, and together. And so, today's story comes to a close. After days of hardship, Nhat has finally returned home, a place where Hang has always been waiting, where her mother's love is ever present, and where a new beginning awaits. Life will still bring challenges, but with love, understanding, and hands working together, any home can become warm and welcoming. Will the new vegetable garden sprout fresh green shoots tomorrow? Will Nhat, Hang, and both families truly live in harmony? Or are new troubles quietly waiting just around the corner? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, so you won't miss the next chapters of this heartfelt story. Thank you all for watching until the end. See you in the next episode.